And we're ready to start when you are, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Welcome to the special meeting of the LUSD Redistricting Commission for Wednesday, August 25th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. Today we are conducting a public input hearing to gather testimony of communities of interest in School Board District 6. You could also just give community of interest for any district. It's not limited to District 6, but today's is focused on District 6, but definitely anyone can and give public comment of their own district or around the larger map that they want to give. I'd like to welcome folks to today's meeting. First, my name is Luis Sanchez. I'm the chair, and I want my fellow commissioners to also introduce themselves, mention who has appointed them, and give any statements or brief remarks. Once again, my name is Luis Sanchez, chair. I was appointed by school board member Monica Garcia, and I'll pass it over. I'll go to Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Commissioner Sanchez. I'm Elizabeth Johnson. I was appointed by Dr. McKenna in the 1st District. I appreciate all of you who've taken the time out of your evening to come and support your community by being on this Zoom call. I hope you'll get some information from this meeting, and I hope you'll be willing to pass that information on to people in your community. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Go now to Vice Chair Ambriz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. It's already 6:30. Thank you for joining us after your work days, as it is for us as well. My name is Andrea Ambriz. I've been appointed to this commission by Los Angeles City Mayor Eric Garcetti, and really looking forward to hearing from the community. Hopefully we have a couple of more attendees. As I mentioned in a previous commission meeting, if you have any local friends, local parents, that you can share this commission meeting link with, please do. We'll be here for the next kind of hour and a half taking your comments. Look forward to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Ambriz. Can we now go to Commissioner Lopez Ledesma?
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening and participating in this process. I'm Yvette Lopez Ledesma, and I was appointed by Council President Nuri Martinez.
Thank you, Commissioner. Can we go to Commissioner Hernandez?
Hi, yes, good evening, everyone. Christy Hernandez. I was appointed by Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. We look forward to hearing your comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can we go to Commissioner Lundquist?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Lorraine Lundquist. I'm so grateful to all of you who are here spending your Wednesday evening with us. We look forward to your comments. And I was appointed by school board member Scott Schmerlson.
Commissioner Hurtado?
Yes, good evening. I'm Council Member Gil Hurtado from the City of Southgate. I was appointed by school board member Jackie Goldberg, and very happy to be part of this group. And just a reminder, we're going to do our very best to present a result that hopefully the majority of the people are going to be proud of. I know that we're not going to be able to satisfy everybody, and even some of us might not be satisfied with the end result. It's just impossible to do that with the population that we have. But once again, thank you for joining us, and we're going to do our best for you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Can we go to Commissioner Sanchez?
Hi, everyone. Antonio Sanchez. I was appointed by LAUSD School Board President Kelly Gones. Buenas tardes. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Great. So given that we just hit quorum, is there any ex parte communication on behalf of any board members, of any commissioners to report to either board members or city council staff?
Yes, I do. On Monday, I had a note. On Monday, about 6:30, right after the meeting, I sent an email to Carolyn Fowler, who's Executive Director for Dr. McKenna and reported that the Dr. Beatty, who was on the call, requested to speak to me and also to share the comments that Mr. Farrell had regarding District 1. And also, as a result, I don't know whether it's ex parte, but Dr. Beatty did call me this afternoon, and I had about a half-hour talk with him, and he shared his thoughts about trying to get more people involved in being aware of this redistricting process. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Any other commissioners, any ex parte communication to report? Okay, thank you. Sorry, Andres, if you could do the announcement about interpretation.
Hello everyone, bienvenidos a todos que están aquí presentes que necesitan interpretación. En estos momentos usted puede ir a la parte inferior de la pantalla y puede acceder al icono que es la esfera o el mundo y puede seleccionar su idioma. De esa manera usted tendrá interpretación simultánea de esta reunión. Nuevamente, bienvenidos, muchas gracias.
Thank you. Right before we kind of do a presentation on why we're here around as a commissioners and creating this map that happens every 10 years. And LAUSD is one thing we want to remind attendees and other public folks that are listening today is that we're tasked as a commission to put together a map, a new map for the next 10 years by which voters will be able to choose their board member in their respective 7 districts in LUSD. We're not tasked with choosing the next board member. We're not tasked with other things connected to LUSD, but we're here to just figure out how do we create a map that takes into account your communities of interest, where you think your area should be part of the school district, where they feel that we should fix the map moving forward and take those ideas, right? And so we're happy to hear all comments connected to that. And we're happy that you're here today to kind of provide those to inform this process. So eventually when we develop our first map, it's informed by your comments, your concerns, and your suggestions. So let's begin with the presentation.
Sure, Mr. Chair. And just a reminder once again for everyone to mute themselves. And just so you know, Mr. Chair, I'm having some video issues. So that's why I'm off camera. But let me,
Okay.
So once again, everyone mute themselves and we'll start the presentation.
Welcome to the LUSD Redistricting Commission's public input hearing, and thank you for attending. The LUSD Redistricting Commission is composed of 15 members, 7 appointed by each member of the LUSD Board of Education, 4 appointed by the Los Angeles City Council President, and 4 by the Mayor of the City of Los Angeles. The Commission has elected myself, Luis Sanchez as Chair, Ms. Andrea Ambriz as Vice Chair. To date, we have had 14 meetings to organize ourselves, establish our procedures and processes, and hire staff. We have also created 2 standing committees, the Outreach Committee co-chaired by Wilma Franco and Elizabeth Johnson, and the Data and Mapping Committee co-chaired by Ana Teresa DeHaan and Barry Wake. The committees meet on a regular basis to discuss issues under the purview of each committee. This hearing is part of the first phase of soliciting public input in our work. There will be many other opportunities. We are committed to providing the residents of the Los Angeles Unified School District with full opportunity to participate in this process. We are holding 7 public input hearings prior to the development of any maps. Once we develop an initial map and approve it for public distribution in late September. The full commission will hold a second round of hearings during the first week of October to receive further input from the public. Our final map must be completed by October 29th. Once our map is finalized, it will then go to the City Council, which has until December 31st, 2021 to adopt the final map. We are making redistricting software and data available to the public so you may submit your own recommended maps. We also are making the information we gather available online through our commission website, redistricting2021.lacity.org/LUSD-RC, as well as providing the public the opportunity to submit testimony, comments, and maps online. We encourage all LUSD communities and stakeholders to engage in the redistricting process so that communities have equal access to political representation. How and where districts are drawn can shape a community's ability to elect representatives of their choice. Before we begin receiving your comments, the city attorney will provide a brief overview of the redistricting law and criteria that we are obligated to follow. That presentation will be followed by the member of our Data and Mapping Committee, who will explain the concept of communities of interest and how this information is crucial to the success of our work.
On behalf of the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office, we welcome you to this public hearing of the LAUSD Redistricting Commission. Our office's role is to provide legal advice to the city, including this commission, throughout the redistricting process. We would like to take this opportunity to discuss several important laws and legal principles that apply to redistricting. The Los Angeles City Charter requires the City Council to redraw the lines for the LAUSD's 7 Board of Education districts at least once every 10 years. The Charter creates this redistricting commission to advise the City Council on the drawing of LAUSD Board of Education district lines. The Charter requires the redistricting commission to obtain public input, prepare a redistricting proposal, and present the proposal to the City Council. Several important legal criteria govern the redistricting process. The equal population principle. Board of Education districts must contain, as nearly as practicable, equal portions of the total population of the Los Angeles Unified School District. This principle is established in the City Charter and also in the United States Supreme Court's one person, one vote decisions. The United States Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. The United States Supreme Court has held that race cannot be used as the predominant factor in drawing district lines, such that traditional redistricting criteria are subordinated to the considerations of race. The Voting Rights Act of 1965. The Voting Rights Act prohibits voting practices which result in a denial or abridgment of the right to vote on account of race, color, or language minority status. Redistricting plans must be analyzed under the Voting Rights Act to ensure they do not deprive minority voters of an equal opportunity to elect representatives of their choice in violation of the Act. Traditional redistricting criteria. Federal, state, and city law have established several traditional redistricting criteria, all of which shall be considered to the extent feasible when drawing district lines. What are the traditional redistricting criteria? Contiguity. All parts of a district should connect. Compactness. Districts should be geographically compact. Existing boundaries. Districts should utilize boundaries such as geographic, street, and political boundaries and conform to high school attendance zones. Communities of interest. Districts should preserve neighborhoods and communities of people sharing common interests. More information regarding the laws governing the LAUSD's redistricting process are available on the Redistricting Commission's website, redistricting2021.lacity.org/LAUSDRC. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. The City Attorney has just provided a brief overview of the redistricting law and criteria that the Commission is obligated to follow in the redistricting process. As a member of the Data and Mapping Committee, I want to share with you the current LAUSD Board of Education district map adopted in 2012. There are 4 ways for the public to provide input into the Commission's process. The first way is to attend a public hearing like you are doing today and tell us what you'd like to see in a map. The second way is through the public comment form on our website. The third way is to submit your map to the commission, and the rules and procedures for doing so are on the website as well. Lastly, the commission will be providing an online mapping tool to help the public draw their own maps. We will now address the concept of communities of interest and how this type of public input is crucial to the success of the commission's work. As the city attorney mentioned, traditional redistricting criteria consists of maintaining compact districts, drawing contiguous districts, observing natural boundaries, and respecting communities of interest. While the first three are easily identifiable, protecting communities of interest is typically the most subjective and controversial of the traditional redistricting criteria. The concept of protecting communities of interest is to draw boundaries in a manner that preserves communities that share common interests and that should be included within a single district for purposes of their effective and fair representation. There are many types of common interests that may identify a community of interest. For example, communities may share common housing patterns, urban, rural, or suburban. Communities may share a common culture or language. Communities may be defined by their neighborhood council, or by the location of cultural, religious, or educational institutions. Communities may also be defined by the location of geographic boundaries or features, such as a city, parks, lakes, mountains or freeways, certain public services like public schools, public transit. The Los Angeles Police Department or the County Fire Department may also help define a community. The Commission will be using a wide range of information, including census data on income level, educational background, housing patterns, same-sex households, cultural and language characteristics, employment and economic patterns, health and environmental conditions, crime, schools, and other common issues. The Commission will also consider city planning maps, school attendance zone maps of the Los Angeles Unified School District, transit maps of the Los Angeles Metro, and neighborhood council maps, as well as other maps and geographic information. While all of this written information is critical to the Commission's work, so is input from the public. The Commission has prepared a public comment form on communities of interest. If you would like the Commission to consider a particular community of interest, we invite you to complete and submit a public comment form on our website. To speak at this public hearing or to submit your written comments to the Commission.
Thank you again for attending our meeting today. To contact the Commission, you can reach us by email, phone, on our website, and you can follow us on social media. Our website is located at Redistricting 2021 LA City org/LAUSD-RC. On our webpage, the Google Translate button in the upper right corner is available to translate the website into multiple languages. On our homepage, you can easily RSVP for a public hearing, join any live Zoom webinars, and provide us with public comment with the click of a button shown in the middle of the page. This website is where we will publish our draft map by the end of September, as well as the final recommended map and report to the Los Angeles City Council by the end of October. The homepage menu also allows you to access the Commission's documents and tools. Our purpose and value statements are also posted on our website, outlining the Commission's commitment to creating a transparent, equitable, and data-driven process that centers students, families, and communities. We also make available the video and audio of all of our meetings on the video audio page. On another page, you can also view the accompanying detailed minutes from previous meetings. We will post transcripts following all public hearings on our website approximately 2 weeks after each public input hearing. Under the Community Engagement section, you may view the working timeline of our commission, which outlines the tentative schedule of our efforts and indicates the dates by which we will complete our work. The public comment page under Community Engagement is where you can RSVP for a public input hearing, easily submit written comments, or you can email us at lausd.redistricting@lacity.org. Additionally, beginning in September, our online mapping tool on the Maptitude software page is where you will be able to draw suggested maps to submit to the Commission. This page also provides the rules and procedures for presenting a map to the Commission at our Commission meeting on September 15th. On the Agenda Schedule webpage, you can view all of our meeting agendas and related materials to stay updated on the Commission's work in progress. Currently, the Commission is conducting only virtual meetings following state and local guidance. We hope you visit our website at redistricting2021.lacity.org/LAUSDRC. And we hope you participate in future meetings with us.
We are holding 7 virtual public input hearings between August 18th and September 1st, before we begin the process of drawing and publishing a draft map. Every public input hearing will have Spanish interpretation available using the Zoom interpretation button at the bottom of your screen. We will also provide interpretation in 12 other languages if we receive a request at least 72 hours before the meeting. When providing comments in any language other than English, please pause every 2 sentences to allow your interpreter to interpret your comment back to English. Feel free to contact us by email or phone, and don't forget to check out our website and follow us on social media. Now we will move into the public comment period of the meeting. Each member of the public wishing to speak before the Commission will have up to 3 minutes. Please select the raised hand option to speak and wait to be called on. When we call on you, please state your name and the boundaries of your community of interest as an introduction to your comments. Once again, thank you for attending today's public hearing for the LUSD Redistricting Commission and for participating in this very important process.
So before we begin our public comment section, we've been joined by 2 commissioners, and I want to know if Commissioner both Franco and Waite could introduce themselves, mention who appointed you, and if you have any brief remarks, and then as well as if you have any ex parte communication to report. So we can begin with Commissioner Franco.
Good afternoon, everyone. Commissioner Franco, I've been appointed by Council President Nuri Martinez. It's a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to getting all the feedback from our community members and no ex parte communication. Thank you, Chairman.
Hi, everyone. I'm Barry Waite, and I'm the appointee of Dr. Vladovic, who was at the time the board member for the 7th District, and now Tanya Ortiz Franklin, and glad to be with you here this evening.
Great. Thank you, commissioners. So now we can move to the public comment section. So once again, just as a reminder, please raise your hand if you'd like to give public comment. We're going to do, some Spanish translation? Announcement, please.
Muy bien, ahora vamos a comenzar con aportación pública. Eso significa que usted va a poder levantar su mano virtual y también dar sus comentarios. Les vamos a dar 3 minutos, pero le vamos a pedir que haga sus comentarios 2 oraciones a la vez. Así el intérprete puede decir cada palabra y no se le vaya a faltar ninguna. Queremos escuchar todo, así que 2 oraciones a la vez. Muchas gracias.
So we can now go to begin. I know we have to do some announcements ahead of it. So Who are we going to Gladys or Streffen?
Yes,
Go ahead.
I can go ahead and start. Sorry. Okay. In conformity with the governor's executive order N2920, March 17, 2020, and due to concerns over COVID-19, the Los Angeles Unified School District Redistricting Commission meetings will be conducted entirely telephonically. Members of the public who would like to offer public comment via Zoom webinar on the items listed on the agenda should click on the raise hand function to request to speak. Members of the public who would like to offer public comment via phone on the items listed on the agenda should call 1-669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 161-077-4991 and then press pound. Press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press *9 to request to speak. At this moment, we do have a member of the public that would like to speak, and I'd like to turn it over to the city attorney for further direction for the public.
Sure. So for people calling in, when we announce you by reading off the last 4 digits of your phone number or other identifying information, if you're calling in with a block number, please press *6 right away to unmute yourself. Also, if you're listening on any other devices, turn down the volume on the other devices right away. We get feedback and there's a time delay and it causes a lot of confusion if you're listening on the other devices. As you were told, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. If you need translation, you'll get additional time. We'll essentially double the time and stop the clock while the translator is speaking. Please, if you need a translation in English, please speak just a few sentences so that the translator can come in and translate. Each person gets 1 opportunity to speak. We ask only that your comments be relevant to the LAUSD Redistricting Commission and that you please not be repetitive. Finally, I should say that occasionally we get members of the public who speak using vulgarities or unfortunately racist or other language. The commission certainly does not condone this. However, because of First Amendment concerns, there's not a lot we can do about it. While the commission members have to listen, members of the public should not hesitate to turn down the volume on their devices or put their phone to the side until those comments are over. And with that, we're ready to take public comment.
Okay. The first caller with the name Michael Beatty, please unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Dr. Beatty. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, I don't really. Well, I do have a comment. I'm buoyed, if you will, by the responses that I've gotten from Ms. Coronado and from our representative, Ms. Johnson. I spoke to them both today, lengthily. I'm feeling pretty good. I promise at our next meeting, there'll be more people here from Board District 1. I'm anxious to get the mapping part done, and I'm looking for a little fun and trying to get these boundaries because I know you aren't gonna like mine, but at least we'll have some good dialogue with respect to how this moves forward and so forth and so on. Just if I might share just a little bit, what's happening is communities, I'm going to be working with Ms. Coronado to assist in making this happen, at least in Board District 1. And I've spoken to, they had an online webinar today with the district about a search for the new superintendent. And no one on that call had, really heard anything. So I think it's really, incumbent, not really, well, Ms. Coronado has really gone out of the way because we're going to be having meetings with her and so forth and so on, because this is an arduous process. But I do want to thank them both personally for reaching out, for being open. And I think main thing that I got was this really is a partnership, and we need to work together, all of us, to make sure that we get everything that we can get out of this process. I know what I want. I want a new school district. I want to draw some new district lines here such that the Black community can have its own school district within, a subset of Board District 1. That's all I got for now, but I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the responses, and I'm looking forward to getting something done for the Crenshaw community and Board District 1 to do something to ameliorate this 25 years of failure in mathematics that is the paramount thing that I am really looking to change. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Once again, for those who would like to offer public comment, please click on the raise hand function to request to speak.
As we wait for different attendees to show interest to speaking, I know that we have a poll we want to conduct with panelists and attendees.
Yes, thank you, Chair Sanchez. Good evening to everyone attending the meeting tonight. As we gauge outreach strategies and ensure that we are doing the very best that we can to bring attention to the public regarding this issue, I'm going to put together this poll for you all to give me a better sense of what is working at the moment and how you heard about this meeting so that we can readjust strategies if need be. So please participate. We would greatly appreciate it.
So as folks fill out the poll, as a follow-up, if you're interested in speaking, please raise your hand so we could call on you for public comment on your community of interest. There we go. Do we are people still filling out the poll, Genesis? Because we do have.
Yeah, we have a couple more participants that haven't filled it out. We'll give them 1 more minute.
Okay. I saw one. I see one speaker potentially. I had seen another hand up, but the hand went down. Maybe they'll raise their hand again.
Okay, I think we're good.
Okay.
Okay, do you want me to call on the next speaker? Chair Sanchez?
Yes, please do.
Okay, caller by the name Itzel FCW, she, her, Ella. Please unmute yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Itzel Flores Castillo Wang. I'm a community organizer for Promesa Boyle Heights, located in Boyle Heights area. I came today because I knew that someone from our Comité de Líderes was going to be speaking, and it's my first time attending this meeting. I do want to say that I know that part of the redistricting includes using the census to draw these lines. And unfortunately, I don't think that the census is going to provide very accurate information because, as we know, the administration from the previous administration put some fear into residents, especially the immigrant community, which means a lot of them might have not been counted, which means the census will not be providing accurate numbers to really be accurate, really draw accurate lines. So that was my public comment. However, I also did want to add, during this whole session, up until now, I have been listening on the Spanish interpretation side, and to no fault of the interpreter, I do not believe the meeting has been interpreted accurately. It sounded very confusing at some points, which I do not think helps with accessibility to Spanish speakers or any other language speakers, because if I had heard the interpretation, I would have been really confused as to how to provide public comment here today. So I just wanted to say that it would be great if those things could be fixed or made better, because I feel like that is an accessibility issue and community members would not be able to provide public comment. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that I am very privileged in being bilingual and being able to jump from channel to channel, but if I was only a Spanish speaker, I would have been very confused and would not know how to perhaps enter the meeting or even be able to be here to provide my public comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Caller by the name Daniel C., can you please unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Daniel. I live in the East LA area. I saw the invitation through social media, so I'm glad that there's some presence there. I grew up in the area. I went to school to Irvine, but I commuted, so I stayed in the area I've been in the area for most of my life. I've been involved in like trying to study like how we can help our our cities and different aspects. I studied hello. Oh
Yeah, yes, please continue, speaker.
oh, sorry, I didn't see the timer going, so I was unsure if it was counting my my time. But so I've also my undergrad is in urban studies. I got a master's in city planning. So I'm engaged in that aspect of like trying to improve our communities through different policies that affect our communities. And I'm just aware of like the redistricting and like how the maps are very gerrymandered, and growing up in the very east of East LA, right where East Los Angeles College is at, seeing how where I live on my side of the street, there's one district, and right across the street it's just like another district. But most of us went to Garfield High School, but we're part of two different like districts. I don't know if there's something that or if the commissioners can consider making East LA like one whole district, or try to make that more fair, or like more united, rather than being like very separated. And also I was in the last meeting, and I heard something about the GIS. So I was wondering, other than the mapping and drawing the lines, is there any data being used, and is that available to the public as to being able to see what kind of data is being used? I've worked with GIS before, not like really professionally, but I've taken my classes in that. So it would be interesting to know what kind of, if there is data being used, and what kind of data is being used. Just because I know different kind of data can provide a different perspective and a different story, if you will. So yeah, that's the end of my comment. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much for your comment. Once again, for those who are just joining, if you would like to offer public comment, please click the raise hand function to request to speak.
Do we, Andres, can we do the announcement on interpretation?
Sure, Mr. Sanchez. That's why I was raising my hand earlier. This announcement was made simultaneously with the other interpreter. I am the consecutive interpreter, and I just wanted to add that this announcement is being made twice, not only in the English, but the Spanish. So, si usted quiere una interpretación y usted está en el teléfono, usted quiere hacer un comentario más bien, usted puede hablar al 1-669 254-5252. El número indicado para la identificación es el 161-077-4991, si tengo entendido. Y de esa manera usted puede participar estrella 9 para poder pues anunciarse y su mano virtual, y luego estrella 6 para activar su micrófono. Nuevamente, este anuncio se ha hecho simultáneamente y también consecutivamente. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Andres.
You're welcome.
So if anyone wants to speak, once again, please raise your hand so you can be called in for this public comment section. So let's wait a couple, maybe a minute to see before we close public comment. There we go.
Okay. Caller by the name Carla Fernandez, please unmute yourself.
Hi there. Good evening, everyone. My name is Carla Fernandez, as you already heard. I am the Assistant Director of the Solid Collaborative. I am also originally from Southgate. I grew up in Southgate. I went to K-12 in Southgate and formerly was a teacher. I would like to talk about the Southeast LA region, including the communities of Walnut Park, Florence Firestone, Vernon, Southgate, Maywood, Linwood, Huntington Park, Cudahy, Bell Gardens, and Bell. Obviously, not all of those cities are covered by LAUSD, but I do want to share that several organizations that I've collaborated with, including Communities for a Better Environment, Latino Equality Alliance, COCO, South LA, Altamed. We've held workshops with parents from this region and tried to obviously get the word out about the redistricting process. But I think a lot of the comments that we're hearing from families that really make the Sela region a community of interest is not just the impact of COVID-19 on education and problems such as learning loss, lack of digital connectivity, just like the inability of parents to work and support their students, but lots of issues that were happening before COVID. And so I think I would like to put forward the Sela region as a community of interest worth considering keeping together. We've held 2 workshops thus far, and one thing that's really stood out to me is the urgency that the parents, some of which include organizers, have mentioned the need for the board district of Sela to sort of have similar qualities in terms of like their educational achievement. As you all may know, right now, the board district is drawn with Northeast LA. I actually have spent the past 5 years of Northeast LA living in this area. And I think it would be very important for Sela to be drawn with a region that shares more in common with it. I think obviously both regions have lots of strengths and challenges, but I think we've been hearing from lots of parents about the importance of having someone that really represents the region. I would encourage the commission to also consider, I know that the census data will be used, but I really think there's an importance in looking at educational attainment data, whether it's high school graduation rates, A through G completion, college attainment, to really think about the Sela region and look at its qualities that make it a community of interest. And I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for your comment.
Once again, if there's any attendees that are interested in giving public comment on community of interest, please raise your hand. We'll wait a couple seconds before we close public comment, just give people last minute chance to give public comment. Okay. Seems like there's no more public comment. We will close public comment and go back to the commissioners. Gladys, please pay attention, make sure if anyone raises a hand at some point, but we have to reopen it. But just have any questions, if any commissioners have any remarks or statements based on what we heard today. So we have Commissioner Lopez Ledesma.
Thank you. I just want to thank Itzel with Promesa Boyle Heights for her comment regarding the translation. We take those comments very seriously and want to improve on all of our meetings. And so hearing comments like that about what's going on, in particular with the translation services, the simultaneous translation, is really important. So just wanted to say thank you for that. We'll work on getting those issues addressed and improved upon.
Thank you, Commissioner Lopez Ledesma. Any other commissioners have any comments or remarks? Well, we have Andrew. Yeah, go ahead.
So I know one of the public comments was about what kind of data that we're using. And so I just wanted to kind of outline that a little bit for the public. So we do use the census data that was just released almost 2 weeks ago, called the PL 94-171 data. And that's the base data that we have to use for redistricting. We also provide citizen voting age population data from the 2019 American Community Survey, as well as a variety of other data sets. Educational attainment, I believe, was mentioned earlier this evening, that will be in that data set, along with things like housing tenancy, income, and a couple of other variables as well. And then we also use state voter registration data and turnout data from the 2020 general election, broken down by ethnicity. So in particular, because the census doesn't break down Asian subgroups by ethnic groups, and what I mean by that is they lump all Asians together. They don't break it out by Vietnamese, Chinese, Filipino, Japanese, on and on and on. So we use that data to make sure that we're not doing harm to those communities as well. And so in general, that's the data set that we will be using for the redistricting process. And all of that data will be available on the online mapping tool, which will be made available at the beginning of September. And we're hoping to have a launch date by September 1st.
Great. Can you also add, Andrew, the 10% rule that we could use around creating to kind of take into account the potential undercounts that may be happening in some of these regions that were the most undercounted, like we heard from the Southeast, South LA, East Side? Sure.
So in general, there's what's called the deviation of districts, and what that talks about is when you're doing redistricting, you have to equalize the population among the 7 districts for the LAUSD school board member districts. And so within that equalization of population, they don't have to be exactly the same number. They can actually deviate from that ideal number by up to 10%. And what that means is you could have one district that has a -5% deviation, so it's 5% lower than the ideal, and you can have a district that's over up to 5% over the ideal. And so as we're looking at various boundaries, and we're considering the Latino undercount in the census, particularly on the east side and northeast LA, we can take all of that into consideration and make adjustments based on those factors, as well as things like community boundaries and conforming to high school attendance zones, and has been discussed at previous meetings, also looking at feeder school patterns. And so we do have some flexibility, It's not tremendous, but it does allow us the ability to factor in some of these issues, and particularly the census numbers that just came out.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. We have a speaker, so I want to open up public comment. I know Gladys, that's why you raise your hand. So
Yes.
let's open up public comment for this speaker.
Thank you, Chair. Can the caller with the name Alberta Moore please unmute yourself?
Hello, I'm Alberta Moore from the Community Response System of South LA. I apologize, I'm on my son's mini iPad, and figuring it out is something. We have really been pushing to publicize this, and you know, we're hitting everywhere, including next door. I think they need to, you know, focus on other stuff than lost cats. So we are hoping to get more people engaged in the process. One concern that we do have is people are intimidated about being engaged, and we're letting them know that you guys are reviewing written comments also. This year is really, really important because there has been a lot of funding allocated to the districts based on, you know, COVID, federal and state resources. So we're hoping everyone has opportunity to express their positions on this. My position in terms of BD1 is really clear in terms of acknowledging the natural boundaries of the 10 freeway, the 110 freeway, La Cienega, and the 105, because I think it's more of a cohesive community there. Each area, you know, the major concerns are not following the path of the schools. So kids get separated from elementary school, middle schools, high schools, and some families have to go to 2 or 3 different board members in terms of addressing their needs. So that's one concern, and we're really hoping to get more people engaged. I thank you guys for taking the time and from your evenings to allow public comments. So once again, thank you, and we do appreciate you.
Thank you very much for your comment.
See if there's any more public comment. Please raise your hand if you're interested in giving public comment. We had just reopened public comment once again. Wait a couple seconds before we close public comment. Oh, there we go.
Caller by the name Maria, please unmute yourself.
Sí, hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es María Contreras. Un placer estar aquí nuevamente con ustedes para poder expresar lo que estoy escuchando del COVID-19.
Hello, everyone. This is Maria Contreras, and I've been listening to everything that has been said regarding COVID-19. Proceda, María.
Sí, gracias. Mi manera de ver ahorita es que analizando, creo que COVID-19 también fue un impacto grande para que muchas personas no se hayan inscrito o no hayan sido contados en el censo, y eso me preocupa porque si muchas personas no van a ser contadas y los distritos se van a basar en las personas que sí fueron contados, entonces me gustaría que los comentarios que la gente en verdad está dando en verdad sean válidos para que cada distrito quede en el distrito que pertenece y no estén divididos y no se basen tanto porque el COVID-19 impactó bastante. Mucha gente no fue contada.
And because COVID-19 made such an impact on our community, many of the members of the community were not able to go and sign up or be counted in the census. Now, being counted in a census is very important because that gives you the the voice being counted in the district. When they're dividing it, it's all based on the individuals that have been counted in the census, and therefore these decisions are made. So we are valid. We want to be counted too, and this is why the districts have to be, the individuals have to be in the districts that they belong. And again, I'm just sharing the fact that COVID-19 did impact the being counting of the census. María, proceda.
Sí, gracias nuevamente. Ese era mi punto, ¿verdad? Que ahorita que están comentando sobre el COVID-19 y el impacto que puede afectar en eso, pues quería dejar que importante que estuviera eso consciente de que toda la gente no fue participada, aparte de toda la gente que está como que no se sienten contadas, y pues eso a la vez es algo que impacta, y eso hace que los mapas se tracen de la forma que son y de la manera en que nuestra comunidad no es beneficiada. Ese es mi comentario. Muchas gracias nuevamente. Y gracias a usted por expresar muy bien lo que digo, y a todos ustedes por escuchar nuevamente. Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Thank you for your comment.
So the point I wanted to make and I wanted to speak to is the fact that when you participate in census, then you are counted, you matter. And a lot of people don't feel that they've been listened to because of this fact that they haven't been counted. And we already discussed the issue why they weren't counted with regards to the COVID-19. So again, I just want to reiterate this, and I want to thank the interpreter for making such a great interpretation and clear rendition of the message I wanted to say here today. Thank you all for speaking. Thank you. Thank you all for listening. Thank you.
So while we wait for see if there's any more public comment, just as a reminder, not only can you give public comment at these meetings, you could also email us and you could call us to provide comment as well around a community of interest. So let's see if we have any more attendees that are interested in giving.
And Mr. Chairman, just let me remind everybody, if you're on the telephone, press *9 to request to speak.
Thank you.
En dado caso que usted esté participando en esta reunión vía telefónica, le animamos y le encomiamos a oprimir o presionar estrella 9 para levantar su mano virtual y de esa manera estrella 6 para activar su micrófono. Muchas gracias.
Wait a couple seconds before we close public comment and take any final statements or comments or remarks from commissioners. It seems like we don't have any speakers. We'll be closing public. Sorry. So we're closing public comment and head back to our commissioners to see if we have, I saw a raised hand from one of our commissioners. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Commissioner Hernandez.
Thank you, Chair Sanchez. I just wanted to reiterate and underscore the point about translation. I want to make sure that we revisit that and that folks feel comfortable with the translation that they're receiving, especially if this is a topic that they're not familiar with. I do know that sometimes the terms that we use, they vary just based on the commission. So I'll maybe providing some type of an index so that translators may feel more comfortable with some of the terminology that we're using. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hernandez. I mean, just something I would want to add. I think today's theme of the undercount and the census is going to be critical as we think about these maps. As someone who actually conducted census, led census efforts in, San Fernando Valley, as well as the Southeast and the East Side, we know full well that there were some of those undercounted regions along with South LA and the LUSD overlap. And then the other thing, which, Andrew, I'd be interested to think about is figuring out, we also know that many lives were lost, right? And residents, in a lot of these hots that we're not even, is not going to be reflected in the census, and how that would impact, given that a lot of the hot spots also happen to overlap with a lot of these districts like 7, 1, 5, and 2, in terms of the lives that were lost in our district. So that's the other thing is we need to take into account, because a lot of that happened after the census with the second wave that happened here in Los Angeles County. So I have a Genesis, you have a comment?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to see if I can get the opportunity to share once again the slide of how the community can continue to engage and provide public comment, to share the links. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick so folks have that information.
Thank you, Genesis. So we'll keep that up as any commissioners, if they have any other remarks or statements. So once again, we've posted how you could provide public comment through the different avenues and outlets for us. Okay, given that we don't have any statements or remarks from our commissioners, I'd like to motion to adjourn our meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Good night.
everyone. Good comment. Thank you. Thank you, Andres.